I'm excited, actually. This is going to be a really good show. Hopefully sustain a nice show that people can get a lot of value from and get a lot of content and good information that can help them. And when I say help them, I mean the grassroots goalkeepers, people that we serve at the grassroots level. We're not with any club teams, college teams, pro teams. We have to build everything from the ground up. Everything is work, everything is merit. That's what makes our journey so beautiful. With that journey comes lots of challenges, lots of ideas, lots of opinions, lots of things that most other environments probably don't have to deal with, but we do. How do I get the message out to some of my parents who are learning for the first time, who are going through this maze, who are constantly being bombarded with new trends and new social media and new this, new that, the shiny object syndrome? How do I help them? This is how I'll help you. Stay tuned. How you doing? This is Coach Gabe. Thank you so much for coming to my show. I've been having a couple episodes here, and I've been really excited about how things are going. I'm in the middle of my camp as we speak. I'm day 3 of a camp that we've had a international guest presenter come and join us. So I really want to talk about camps today. I think camps is a really big, important topic. The realities, the truths, the myths about certain camps for goalkeepers. I think that there's a lot of information out there that maybe we should probably be diving deep into. I want to talk about that. There's all kinds of camps you can go to. There's college ID camps. There's technical camps. There's camps for certain types of skills for goalkeepers. Great, fantastic. There's not all camps are created equal. Not all camps are created the same. So, I really want to talk about, what a camp can do for you. If you go to a camp and they're promising you that a particular institution is going to be there and they're going to recruit you, and, they're really just bringing you like this little, they're bringing, cheese about, this institution is going to be there. You want to go because that's interesting to me, because I think that when it comes to camps, you should be getting knowledge. You should be getting wisdom. You should be having new interactions, new tones, new ways of doing things, and being exposed to new information or different ideas and different ways of doing things. That's the whole purpose of a camp, in my opinion. I've seen plenty of kids go to plenty of camps with the idea that they're going to be going to this camp in order to get recruited or some pro coach or something. I'm not sure if that is the correct way to go to a camp. I think the way in which you need to put your mindset into going to a camp is to try to find new knowledge, try to meet new people, connect with these people, have good interactions with coaches who are very important, who can definitely give you more knowledge. And then it's going to be the nuggets of information, because you want to know where your real development is happening. Your real development is happening during the week on a weekly basis. What your habits are on a weekly basis is really what's going to get you to the next place. Camps provide you that motivation because maybe there's something new. Camps provide you that, the new information, the new tonality, or certain maybe even a camp will give you a tweak in the way somebody says something, and it's not the same as what you've heard, right? But it's different, and for you it captures you differently. That's what a camp will do for you, and that's really what the details are, because it depends on what you're going for. Some of the marketing out there, you're going to bring this institution. If you're not going to the institution, like a university, like college ID camp, that's where they're really having their looks, right? The real looks at the real institution. So just make sure you are clear about these things. Another really good thing that a camp can do is expose you to a lot of different people, your age, older, younger, a lot of different people who are training at high levels, lower levels. It give you some perspective as to where you fit in the ecosystem for goalkeepers. This is huge. Also, making friends with different kind of goalkeepers at these camps. Making friends, you meet somebody, they train well, you want to train well. Maybe they play on a particular team, or you play on your team and you're playing extremely well. And they're like, well, I play on this higher level team and you're on a lower level team and you play so well. How does this work? or vice versa, right? You play on this high level team, you play well, and someone plays well. So there's that understanding of more information when you all kind of congregate at these camps as goalkeepers. The position is, they say it's lonely. It could be lonely if you're not with the right people. Sure. It could be lonely if you feel isolated. It could be lonely if you're not doing things that continue to help you and motivate you. Sure, it could have those lonely effects, but everything could be lonely if you're not doing the right things and you feel kind of isolated. But a camp brings all kind of goalkeepers together. It breaks the monotony of things. Whether it's your training, it breaks the monotony of what time you train in the day or the type of activities you do, because if you're training well, you're training consistently, you're doing consistent things to continue to maintain those things. But a camp can definitely shine light on different aspects that you're not necessarily always being fed. And when you're talking to different people, they give you different ideas. So now you're being exposed to new ideas. You're making new friends. Making new friends at a camp is massive, because now you have similar people who are doing similar things, and it propels both of you or all of you to do things. Just the energy around being with a bunch of goalkeepers. I mean, it's infectious, and that's what a camp can do. And I see camps as a complement to your development, because your development is on a weekly basis. It's with your mentors, it's with your groups that you train with consistently. And then I see camps as a complement, not as it could be a recruitment tool if you're talking to the right people. But I mean, recruits are out there. They know exactly who you are. They know where they're looking. All right. They're not necessarily looking at all the camps. They're not necessarily doing that. They'll send their assistant. They'll send somebody to go, do something like that. But I think a camp should be a little bit different. I think a camp should have a really important instructor, somebody that you haven't seen ever, who's kind of world renowned. I think a camp could be somebody who is, shining light to a particular type of subject that you're not necessarily doing, that is executed in a very strong professional way with a strong mentality. Those are camps. Those are camps that give you a lot of value and benefit. So I never have a camp where I'm like, maybe this person comes and you're gonna get recruited to this institution. I never do that. That's not something I put my eyes around. I make camps where you're going to receive a lot of wisdom. You are going to receive a lot of information and exposure to different levels. Those are the type of camps I enjoy, because I think those are the camps that people get the most out of as a complementary development vehicle. Camps are complementary. You don't just go to a crossing camp for a weekend or something like that with the goalkeepers and expect to be a pro, an advanced expert level goalkeeper when it comes to crosses for that camp. That's just not the way it works. It's exposure, it's information, it's motivation, because now you're around a bunch of people doing it. It's those type of things. Another thing about camps too that people really don't know about is there's a mixture of levels. Some camps you go to, there's a mixture of levels, whether advanced students or beginner students or intermediate students. Just know that before you go to a camp, unless it's an advanced camp specifically, right? And everybody has their own idea of what advanced looks like. So if you're going to a camp that's generally, created for a general group of goalkeepers, that's fine, that's good. If you're going to a camp and it's a mixture of kids, just know that there's going to be a different level there. I've seen camps where I've even done camps where I have just my students. They understand tone. They understand, the way we converse with them. They understand the direction. They understand just the words. They understand a lot of different aspects. And so the camp runs a little bit smoother in some ways. But I've seen other camps where we have, different students from different, environments. There's obviously some understanding that's not necessarily understood, if that makes any sense. Because now they are, they may be hearing you for the first time, and they're being exposed to different kids who move in different ways. And it becomes... it's not as fluid, right, as of a session or of a situation with some of the advanced kids. So just know when you go to a different camp that not all the camps have the same type of fluidity, right? So you got to make sure that if you're going to a camp, are you an intermediate student? Are you a beginner student? Are you an advanced student? Because those things matter, right? And if you're going with a bunch of advanced goalkeepers, maybe you're an intermediate student and you tell yourself, oh, I need to be with a bunch of advanced goalkeepers. Let me ask you a question. If you're an advanced student, right, and do you want to be with a bunch of intermediate students? So you got to think about it both ways, right? You got to think about it both ways. So I always tell people, like, listen, go to a camp, get the most out of the experience, try to partner and group up with people that you enjoy training with. And you know, also try to instill knowledge with people, because you're not just there just to take. You're also there to give and to provide energy, to be a part of something, right? You're not just at any environment giving, taking from the environment, right? You got to give. Go to environments, go to camps, and give your best attitude, your best enthusiasm, give your best technique as possible. Talk to some new people. Talk to a kid who doesn't know how to do something certain, you know, give them some advice. Give. Don't just go to camps just to take. I see this with a lot of my students. They give a lot, and I'm really proud of them, actually, because they're hey, good job. They're giving enthusiasm. They're trying their best to help people stay comfortable in the environment, and they're trying to at the same time they're getting better, right? Because they become more of a mentor. So now they're taking on this leadership role of someone who's trying to help another person. I try to do my best to make sure that they're with the most competitive at all times, but at the same time, there's not, you might not be accommodated instantly as when you want to, because that happens at times. You can't go to every camp is not the same, right? So I've seen it. I've done a couple camps independently with our coaches, and there's expectations that need to be met, and sometimes you can't exceed everybody's expectation all the time. It's just humanly not possible, but you try to do your best. So just think about this. I've seen this. Oh, my son, my daughter, he needs to be with he's 10 years old, he needs to be with 14-year-olds. Well, listen, I appreciate you and I love the idea, but when your son or daughter's 15, 14, are you gonna want 10-year-olds around them, where the parents believe that there's something maybe that they're not as advanced? You see how this works? It works one way, it works the other way as well, right? So you got to give, you got to take at the same time. So when you go to camps, make sure you have a good attitude. You speak to the coaches. Let me just say this: people do not always speak to the coaches. They don't always ask questions. Every time I go to a camp, I'm like, hey, who's got questions? You saw the content, you saw the information, you saw the skill sets, you saw the way it was explained. And anybody have any questions? And I see a lot of no hand. Nobody's asking questions. Why aren't you asking questions? You need to start asking questions as things progress. Don't be afraid to have conversations with the coaches. In fact, in moments where you ask questions, you stand out. So don't you want to stand out in front of coaches who are important? That's your moment. You ask a good question. Don't be afraid to ask a silly question. I'm guaranteed there's other people in those groups who don't even know what you're asking as well. So you're asking, and it's answering questions from other people. There should be no issue in that. So, I feel like camps are interesting. They could be positive and complementary, like I said earlier. I feel like they should be, created in a way that can provide wisdom, motivation, exposure to information, different ideas when it comes to situational topics or techniques, different ideas. So conflicting ideas, maybe even then, right? But just know this: camps do not create your habits. Camps expose you to information. So the moments of development are in these little small detailed nuggets that you have to hold on to. That's what a camp will do for you. So don't get me confused also. I'm not trying to push people away from camps at all. Because in order for you to understand what a good camp is, you have to go to multiple camps. But I do want people to have clear expectations of what they get from a camp, right? Because there's a lot of gimmicks about this. There's a lot of perceived inclinations about what you will get from going to a particular camp, and I think that's unfair. I think the true fairness of a camp should be in the small nuggets of information, the interactions with other kids, the ideas that you can be exposed to, and the awesome training you get, obviously, for a prolonged period of time, because it's not often you can get so much prolonged period of training, right? So some camps are good at all of them. Some good camps are good at Some of them, some camps are good at maybe one or none, other than, but who knows? You know, I don't. All I know is the ones we do, and we try to do what we can whenever we can do them, right? So, and I'm not expected to be some type of expert at camps because we don't do them often. But what I try to be clear about is what you get out of them. And I think it's super important for somebody who has never been to a camp to understand what they can do when they go to a camp. You know, if you ever have any questions, just send me a comment right here. I can definitely help you on that as well. But look, you know, have fun at your camps, get the most out of it, take a bunch of pictures, make memories, you know, do things at a camp that you don't normally do when you're with your training environment, because now you can take risks. There's nobody out there judging you. It's all about development. It's all about fun, and it's all about learning, right? I hate to see a camp where you're not having fun. So make sure you're getting the most out of it. You know, take pictures, talk to your coaches, whoever is there, let them know who you are. Because listen, if you're not playing at the highest level at that camp, if you go to that camp in a year from there, you should be playing at a higher level. They can see progress from one point to another point. That's also another thing about the camps. If you're not in a particular environment, they can see progress from one point to another point in a particular amount of time. So with that being said, enjoy your camps. We're in camp week right now. Enjoy the camps. Enjoy the things that you're doing. Don't be caught up in, is this institution going to be there or not? That's not necessarily that important to me, you know, to each his own. But enjoy them. Have fun with them. Have a blast as a goalkeeper. And enjoy yourself. Take care. Coach Gabe, I'm out.